Hey, before we dive in, a quick heads up. This series is called Validating the BPD Life, and that's exactly what it's here to do. Validate the experience of living with borderline personality disorder, hopefully making you feel a little less alone. That said, if you don't have BPD, there's still value here, especially if you've loved or currently love someone who does. But fair warning, we'll be talking about some heavy stuff. Self-harm, self-destructive behavior, hospitalizations, and a lot of emotional pain. You might feel grief, guilt, anger, rage, shame, or confusion while watching. And if you do, that makes sense. Don't judge yourself for feeling anything. Don't shame yourself for being triggered. Emotions show up for a reason, even if you don't know that reason right away. If it helps, try saying, "It makes sense I'd feel this way after everything I've been through." And if you've ever been hospitalized or felt like you were losing your mind, I wrote a book about my own experience at a psych ward, and you can grab it at the link right here. Or here. To be honest, I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, so I'm just going to say grab it. It supports the work I do and might help you feel a little less lonely on this journey. All right, without further delay and nothing more to say, buckle up, Buttercup. It is time to walk the middle path towards common humanity and a wise mind. I was looking for connection. I ended up alone. This is the part of my story I never thought I'd share, because it's the one that made me believe I was a monster. And something happened after I crossed the value line. Something that made me question everything. Not just what I did, why I did it, and what I needed but didn't know how to ask for. This is the truth about infidelity, mental illness, and the slow, painful process of becoming someone I could finally live with. Part 1. What actually happened? I was in a committed relationship, and I crossed a value line. Emotionally, physically, all of it. It was impulsive, it was compulsive, it was one night. And it wasn't about wanting someone else. It was about not knowing how to sit with myself. I wasn't diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at the time. I didn't know what emotional dysregulation was. I simply thought I was broken. Other people told me I was an addict, a liar, a narcissist, when in reality, I was suffering from a mental illness I hadn't even been screened for. Part 2. The spiral. That night turned into something much bigger. I was catfished, extorted, and harassed for months. And the biggest wound wasn't what happened externally. It was what it confirmed for me internally. That I was unsafe, that I ruined everything, that no one could ever really love me if they knew the truth. And so I did what a lot of people with BPD do. I went into, how can I fix this mode? I started performing remorse, trying to say all the right things, trying to repair, fast, frantically, because underneath the guilt was terror. Terror that if I didn't fix it immediately, I would lose everything. And that terror almost cost me my life. Part 3. The misdiagnosis. Instead of being met with curiosity or care, I was told I had a sex addiction, that my behavior was proof of moral failure, that I simply wasn't trying hard enough. Nobody asked what I was feeling that night. Nobody asked what needs I was trying to meet. Nobody asked what kind of pain I had been in long before it ever happened. And so I started believing what they believed, that I was the villain in my own story. But I wasn't. I was someone in pain, who never learned how to regulate that pain, and who reached for a dangerous, impulsive thing in a moment. Not out of desire, out of desperation. Part 4. The dialectic. Here's the dialectic, the both and that changed everything for me and saved my life. Yes, I crossed a line that deeply hurt someone I loved, and I was also in a state of profound emotional suffering. Both are true. Yes, I was and am responsible for what I did. And no, it didn't come from a place of malice. It came from untreated mental illness. That is not an excuse. That is a full accounting of what led to the breaking point. Part 5. DBT saved my life. Ironically, had this moment not happened, had I not spiraled, had I not ended up in crisis, I may never have ended up in the hospital. And that hospital stay, it's the only reason I finally got diagnosed with BPD. And with that diagnosis, I found DBT. Dialectical behavior therapy taught me what I was never taught: how to regulate overwhelming emotions, how to observe impulses without acting on them, how to communicate without manipulation or panic, how to understand the needs behind my actions. I didn't need punishment. I needed a path to peace. Part 6. The skills I use now. The first skill that saved me should come as no surprise. Stop. Stop, take a step back, observe, proceed mindfully. The opposite of what I did that night. Now it's the pause I put between impulse and action. Next, wise mind. That internal voice that holds two truths at once, that says, yes, this hurts, and no, you are not evil. And the fast skill. Being fair, apologetic without over-apologizing, sticking to values, and telling the truth. Truth not only about what happened, but why it happened. This and other stories like it along my healing journey continue to break my heart when I think about it. And they don't define me anymore. I am not the worst thing I ever did, and neither are you. I am not the terrified person I was when I did it. I'm someone learning to live in truth, to speak from accountability, not shame, to love from regulation, not fear. If you've ever felt like you were too broken to be seen, if you've ever hurt someone and didn't know why, if you've been told you were evil when really you were unwell, I am a testament that there is still hope and there is still healing. And if you haven't heard this yet, let me be clear. You are not beyond repair. You are simply not finished yet. Healing takes time, so be kind to yourself along the way.